The bread had just arrived. That's what I remember, the bread basket, warm sourdough with that little dish of herb butter they do at Lucia's. I was reaching for a piece when she said it. 6 words. I've been sleeping with someone else. I had my hand on the bread, warm crust against my fingers. The waiter was walking toward another table with a tray of martinis. A woman behind us laughed at something her husband said, and my wife of 10 years sat across from me in the dress I'd bought her for our anniversary, and she just said it, like she was telling me they were out of the risotto. I'm going to tell you this story, the whole thing, how we got there, what happened after those 6 words, and why I did what I did next. But I need you to understand something first. I didn't leave her at that restaurant because I was strong. I left because I couldn't breathe. There's a difference. It was October 14th, a Thursday, our 10th anniversary. I'd taken a half-day off work, which if you knew my job, you'd know that's a big deal. I'm a project manager for a commercial construction company. Deadlines, permits, subcontractors who don't show up, taking time off feels like abandoning a sinking ship. But it was 10 years, a decade, that matters, that's supposed to matter. I'd made the reservation 2 months in advance. Lucia's on Franklin Street. It's not the fanciest place in the city, but it's ours. We went there on our third date before we were really anything. I remember she ordered the butternut squash ravioli and got sauce on her chin and didn't notice for 10 minutes, and I didn't tell her because I thought it was cute. When I finally pointed it out, she threw her napkin at me. We both laughed until the people next to us looked uncomfortable. That was who we used to be, people who laughed until we made others uncomfortable. I don't know when we stopped being that. I got home around 3, shower, shave, put on the blue button-down she liked. I don't know which tense to use anymore. I sprayed on cologne, the one she bought me 3 Christmases ago that I only wear for special occasions. She was in the bedroom when I got there, door mostly closed. I heard the hairdryer. I knocked, said I was home. She said okay, just okay. Not hey babe or I'm almost ready, just okay. I told myself she was focused, getting ready. Women concentrate when they're doing their hair, that's normal, that's fine. I went downstairs and waited on the couch, scrolled my phone, checked work emails I didn't need to check, looked at the clock, looked at the stairs, looked at the clock. She came down at 6:15. We needed to leave by 6:20 for our 7:00 reservation. And I need to be honest here, she looked beautiful. The green dress with the low back, hair down, which she almost never does anymore. A little more makeup than usual. She looked like she was trying, and I remember feeling this rush of something, hope maybe. Like okay, maybe tonight would be good, maybe we'd be us again. Maybe the distance of the past few months was just a phase, just stress, just life. You look amazing, I said. She smiled, but here's the thing, I've seen her smile for 10 years, I know her real smile, the one that crinkles the corners of her eyes, the one she can't control. This wasn't that, this was a smile she put on, like lipstick. Thanks, she said, we should go. Not you look nice too, not I'm excited, just we should go. I grabbed the keys, we walked to the car in silence. The drive to Lucia's is 12 minutes, I know because I've made it dozens of times. Down Maple, right on Henderson, through the roundabout, left on Franklin. 12 minutes. It felt like an hour. She was on her phone, not texting, scrolling, Instagram or something. The light from the screen lit up her face in the dark car. I wanted to say something. Hey, can we just be present tonight? But I didn't. I'd said things like that before and she'd roll her eyes, call me dramatic. So I turned on the radio. Some station was playing that Ed Sheeran song, the one from our wedding. Thinking out loud, we danced to it, first dance as husband and wife, her head on my chest, my hands on her waist, everyone watching. I glanced at her to see if she noticed. She didn't, she was still on her phone. I changed the station. We parked behind the restaurant at 6:52, 8 minutes early. She was out of the car before I'd even turned off the engine. I sat there for a second, keys in my hand, watching her walk toward the entrance. Something was wrong. I knew it. I'd known it for months, honestly. The late nights at work that started in June, the new gym routine that had her out of the house 3 mornings a week, the way she'd angle her phone away when texts came in, the distance in bed, not just sex but everything, the way she'd scoot away in her sleep. I told myself stories, she stressed, work is hard, marriage has phases, every couple goes through this, you're being paranoid, you're being controlling, don't be that guy. I told myself so many stories. I got out of the car and followed her inside. I should tell you about us, who we were, because if I don't, you won't understand what I lost. I met Megan in 2011. We were both 27. I was at a friend's birthday party at a bowling alley, the kind of party where you're too old for bowling but too young for dignity. She was in the next lane with her own group, terrible bowler. I'm talking gutter balls, multiple frames in a row. Her friends were laughing at her and she was laughing too, but I could tell she was embarrassed. At one point, her ball went so far sideways it almost ended up in our lane. I grabbed it, walked over, handed it to her. She had this look on her face, half mortified, half amused. "I'm really bad at this," she said. "I noticed. You should probably stay in your lane, for safety." I laughed, she laughed. I asked if her group wanted to combine with ours. She said only if I promised not to critique her form. I said I couldn't make that promise. That was it, that was the start. We were together for 3 years before I proposed, married after a year-long engagement. Bought a house in 2016, a 3-bedroom in Westfield with a backyard we said would be perfect for kids. The kids never came, not because we didn't want them. We tried for 2 years, doctors, tests, that whole nightmare. Unexplained infertility, they said, no one's fault, just bad luck. We talked about IVF, we talked about adoption, then we stopped talking about it. That was around 2019. I think that's when things started to shift. Not break, shift, like tectonic plates moving so slowly you don't feel the earthquake until it's already happened. We stopped dreaming together, that's the best way I can describe it. We used to talk about the future all the time, trips we'd take, things we'd do, who we'd become. After the fertility stuff, we just stopped. The future became next week, next month, immediate, small. I threw myself into work, she did too. We were roommates who shared a bed. We'd watch TV in the same room, but I'd be on my laptop and she'd be on her phone. We'd eat dinner together, but we'd talk about logistics, bills, appointments, whose turn it was to call the plumber. I told myself it was normal. 10 years is a long time, passion fades, that's what everyone says, you become partners, companions. But there's a difference between comfortable silence and empty silence, and ours had become empty, I just didn't want to admit it. We got seated at our usual table, the one by the window that looks out at the little courtyard with the string lights. The hostess recognized us, said happy anniversary. Megan smiled, that same put-on smile from earlier. I ordered a bottle of wine, the same one from our third date. She didn't notice, or if she did, she didn't say anything. The bread came, I reached for a piece. And she said it. "I've been sleeping with someone else. I need you to understand the physics of that moment." My hand on the bread, her voice calm, almost rehearsed. The ambient noise of the restaurant, forks clinking, soft jazz from the speakers, the couple 2 tables over debating whether to split dessert. My brain didn't process it at first, like when you hear a loud noise and your ears take a second to catch up. I heard the words, but they didn't mean anything, they were just sounds. "What?" I said. She took a breath, put her hands flat on the table, looked at me, really looked at me for the first time all night. "I've been seeing someone from the gym. It started in July. July, 3 months, 3 months of lying, 3 months of coming home to me, kissing my cheek, sleeping in our bed while she." The bread was still in my hand. I put it back in the basket, I remember that, the motion of putting it back like it mattered. "Who?" I asked. She shook her head. "Does it matter?" "Yes." She sighed. "His name is Derek, he's a trainer there." "Derek, a trainer, Jesus Christ. How many times?" "Ryan's." "How many times, Megan?" She looked away, out the window at the string lights. "I don't know, a lot, 10, maybe 12. I did the math without meaning to. 3 months, 12 times, every week, sometimes twice a week while I was at work, while I was sitting on the couch waiting for her to come home from the gym. The waiter appeared, young guy, cheerful. "You folks ready to order, or do you need a few more minutes?" I looked at him, looked at Megan, looked at the bread. "We need a minute," I said. He nodded, walked away. The silence stretched, the jazz played, the couple behind us decided to split the tiramisu. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "Tonight, right now, on our anniversary." She had the decency to look uncomfortable. "I couldn't keep lying, I needed you to know, I don't know what I need, I'm confused, Ryan, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know who I am anymore." There it was, the script, the affair fog script I'd read about in forums I never thought I'd be reading. I'm confused. I don't know who I am. The words people say when they want to blow up their life but don't want to be blamed for the explosion. Are you leaving me for him? I asked. She didn't answer right away, which was an answer. I don't know, she finally said. Here's what no one tells you about betrayal. It's not just the cheating, it's everything the cheating reveals. Sitting there looking at my wife, the woman I'd built a decade with, I realized I wasn't just learning about an affair. I was learning that the person I thought I knew didn't exist. The Megan who would never lie to me, who valued honesty, who once told me she couldn't respect people who cheated, that person was a fiction. A character. And the real Megan had been sleeping with a gym trainer named Derek for 3 months while I heated up leftovers and watched Netflix alone. The waiter came back. Any decisions on dinner? I looked at him, then at Megan, then at the bread basket, untouched since I'd put that piece back. Actually, I said, I'm going to head out. He blinked, confused. Megan's eyes went wide. Ryan's. The check for the wine, I said to the waiter. I'll cover it at the bar on my way out. I stood up, my legs felt strange, wobbly, like they belonged to someone else. Ryan, wait, can we talk about this? I looked at her, this woman I'd loved. This woman I'd imagined growing old with. This woman who just told me, over bread and wine at our anniversary dinner, that she'd been sleeping with someone else for 3 months and didn't know if she wanted to leave me for him. I don't have anything to say right now, I said, and I can't sit here. You can't just leave me here. Watch me. I walked toward the bar, paid for the wine. The bartender could tell something was off. He didn't try to make small talk. I signed the receipt, left a 20 on the counter, and walked out. The air hit me, cool October air, the kind that makes you feel alive. I stood on the sidewalk and breathed. She didn't come after me. I don't know if I wanted her to. I don't know what I wanted. I walked to the car, got in, sat there. And then I cried. I don't know how long I sat in that car. 20 minutes maybe, long enough for my face to stop being wet. Long enough to see Megan walk out of the restaurant, look around, spot the car, and start walking toward me. I started the engine and drove away. I didn't go home, I couldn't. The thought of walking into that house, our house, made my stomach turn, so I drove, no destination, just motion. I ended up at a Denny's parking lot off the highway, sat there for another hour, stared at the crack in my windshield I'd been meaning to fix for months. My phone was blowing up, texts from Megan. Where are you? Ryan, please. I know you're upset, I'm sorry, can we talk? I'm getting an Uber home. Are you coming back tonight? I'm so sorry. Please just tell me you're okay. I didn't respond, not because I was trying to punish her, though maybe I was, but because I didn't have words. What do you say? Yes, I'm okay, thanks for asking, enjoy your Uber ride after telling me you've been sleeping with a gym trainer. I called my friend Dave, he answered on the 3rd ring. Ryan, what's up? Megan's been cheating on me. Silence. What? She told me just now, at dinner, our anniversary dinner. Holy shit. Yeah. Where are you? Denny's parking lot, exit 14. Stay there, I'm coming. He got there in 20 minutes, pulled up next to me, got out, got in my passenger seat. Tell me, he said. I told him everything, the 6 words, the trainer, the 3 months, the I don't know if I'm leaving you for him. He listened, didn't interrupt except to swear occasionally. When I finished, he sat back. What do you want to do? I don't know. Do you want to go home? No. You're coming to my place. I didn't argue. I slept on Dave's couch, or tried to. I'd drift off for 20 minutes, then jerk awake, the words echoing, I've been sleeping with someone else. At some point, I dreamed about our wedding, the first dance, her head on my chest, my hands on her waist, but in the dream, when I looked at Megan's face, she was laughing at me, not with me, at me. I woke up at 5:40 a.m., gray light coming through the blinds, Dave's cat staring at me from the armchair like I was an intruder. I checked my phone, 12 more texts from Megan, 1 voicemail, I didn't listen to it. I also had a text from a number I didn't recognize. Hey, this is Derek, Megan gave me your number, I want to apologize, I never meant for this to happen. I stared at that for a long time. He never meant for this to happen, like it was an accident, like sleeping with another man's wife a dozen times just, happened, oops. I didn't respond to that either. Dave woke up around 7, made coffee, didn't ask me how I was feeling, he knew better, just handed me a mug and sat on the other end of the couch. "What's the play?" he asked. "I have to go home at some point." "You don't have to do anything. My stuff's there, my clothes, my work stuff. So we go get your stuff." I looked at him, he was serious. Just like that, he was offering to help me pack up my life. "I don't know if I'm leaving," I said. "I don't know anything." "Okay, then you don't have to know yet, just go home, see how it feels, and decide from there." He made it sound simple, it wasn't simple. I drove home around 10, sat in the driveway for 5 minutes before going in. Megan was at the kitchen table. She'd been crying, her face was puffy, makeup smudged. She was wearing my old college sweatshirt, the one she always stole when she wanted to be comfortable. "You came back," she said. I didn't respond, went to the coffee maker, poured a cup. It was cold, I drank it anyway. "Ryan, please, can we talk?" I turned around, leaned against the counter. "Talk." "I'm so sorry, I know that doesn't mean anything right now, but I never meant to hurt you." There it was again, never meant to, like intent mattered. Like you could sleep with someone else a dozen times and claim you didn't mean to hurt the person waiting at home. "How did it start?" I asked. She looked down. He was my trainer. At first it was just normal stuff, workouts, talking between sets. Then we started texting about life stuff, not just fitness. I don't know, I felt seen by him, noticed, like I was interesting. "And I don't make you feel that way." "Ryan's. Answer the question, Megan." She was quiet for a long moment. "No," she said finally. "You don't, not anymore. You're always working, always distracted. We don't talk about anything real, we just coexist." I felt invisible. With Derek, I felt visible. I absorbed that. She wasn't wrong, about some of it anyway. I had been distant, I had been working too much, I had let us drift. But that didn't justify this. "So instead of telling me you were unhappy, you went and slept with someone else." I know that was wrong, but I didn't plan it, it just happened, right? It just happened 12 times. She flinched. "I'm not trying to make excuses, I'm trying to explain. I was lonely, Ryan, I've been lonely for years, and I made a terrible choice." Choices plural, 12 of them. She started crying again. Part of me wanted to go to her, hold her, tell her we'd figure it out. That part was still the version of me who loved her, who'd promised for better or worse. But there was another part of me now, the part that had been left at that restaurant, the part that had cried in a car in a Denny's parking lot. That part didn't want to comfort her, that part wanted her to feel every ounce of what she'd done. I didn't go to her, I stayed against the counter. "I need to know if you're in love with him." She looked up, mascara running. "I don't know." 3 words, maybe worse than the first 6. "Then I need you to leave." She packed a bag that afternoon, said she'd stay with her sister. I watched her carry her suitcase down the stairs, the same suitcase we'd taken on our honeymoon to Costa Rica. At the door she turned. "I love you, Ryan. I know you don't believe that right now, but I do. I made a horrible mistake and I'm going to spend the rest of my life regretting it." I didn't say anything, I couldn't. She left. I watched her get into an Uber. The irony of that wasn't lost on me. Then I closed the door and stood in the hallway of my empty house. I called my mom. She answered on the first ring, she always does. "Hey honey, how was the anniversary dinner?" I told her. I could hear her shock through the phone. My mom has never liked Megan, not disliked, just never quite warmed to her. Now I wondered if she'd seen something I missed. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know." "Do you want me to come up?" "No, I need to figure this out myself." "Ryan, you don't have to do this alone." "I know, Mom, but right now I need to." That night I slept in my own bed for the first time in a decade without Megan beside me. I spread out, starfished across the whole mattress, but I stayed on my side anyway. Habit. I didn't sleep much, kept reaching for her, then remembering, then the whole thing would hit me again, fresh. At 3 a.m. I gave up on sleep and went downstairs, opened my laptop, started reading. Forums for people who'd been cheated on, survivinginfidelity.com, Reddit threads. I read story after story of people who'd been through what I was going through. Some stayed, some left. Some reconciled and were happier, some reconciled and regretted it, some left and thrived, some left and never recovered. There was no right answer, no playbook, just a million different paths and no way to know which one wouldn't break you. The next month is a blur. I went to work, had to, projects don't stop for personal crises, but I was barely functioning, sitting in meetings I didn't hear, approving things I didn't read. My boss pulled me aside after 2 weeks. "You okay, Ryan? You seem off." "Personal stuff, working through it." He nodded, didn't push. I appreciated that. Megan and I texted occasionally, logistics mostly, the mortgage, the car insurance, whose turn it was to deal with the gutter that needed fixing. We existed in a strange limbo, not together, not apart. She asked to meet for coffee after about 3 weeks. I said okay. We went to some neutral Starbucks, not Lucia's, never Lucia's again. She looked thinner, tired, she'd been crying a lot, I could tell. "How are you?" she asked. "Surviving." She nodded. I ended things with Derek. I didn't know how to feel about that, relieved. It didn't bring me the satisfaction I expected. Why? Because I realized what I was doing, running away from our problems instead of facing them. He wasn't real. It was an escape, a fantasy. I was pretending to be someone I'm not. "And who are you?" She looked at me, eyes wet. "I'm your wife who made a terrible, unforgivable mistake, who wants to know if there's any chance at all, that you could ever forgive me." I sat with that question for a long time. I tried, I want you to know that, I tried. We did counseling every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with a therapist named Dr. Chen who had kind eyes and a voice like warm honey. She walked us through communication exercises, attachment theory, rebuilding trust. And for a while it seemed like it might work. Megan was remorseful, genuinely, deeply remorseful. She gave me access to her phone, her email, everything. She quit the gym, found a new one across town. She wrote me letters, actual handwritten letters, apologizing, explaining, trying. I'd read them at night. Some made me cry, some made me angry, most made me feel both at the same time. We talked more than we had in years, about the fertility struggles we'd never processed, about how we'd stopped dating each other, about all the small disconnections that had added up to a canyon between us. I started to understand how we'd gotten here, not to excuse what she did, nothing excuses that, but to understand. The problem was, understanding didn't equal healing. Because every time I looked at her, I saw two people, the woman I'd married, and the woman who'd slept with someone else for 3 months, then told me about it over bread and wine. When she'd kiss me, I'd wonder if she'd kissed him like that. When she'd laugh at something I said, I'd wonder if she'd laughed at his jokes too. When we'd try to be intimate, I'd see his face, a man I'd never met, a ghost in my bed. 3 months into reconciliation, I knew I wasn't going to get over this, not with her, maybe not ever, but definitely not with her. The trust was broken, and no amount of Wednesday sessions or handwritten letters or access to her phone would put it back together. I told her on a Tuesday. We were sitting on the couch, some show on TV we weren't watching. "Megan." She looked at me, and I think she knew from my face what was coming. "I can't do this anymore." She didn't cry, not at first. "You've tried," she said. "I know you've tried." "I have, but every time I look at you I see it, and I hate myself for that because you're trying too, but I can't unsee it, I can't unfeel it. Is there anything I can do, anything at all?" I shook my head. Then she cried. We sat there for a long time, in the home we'd built together, with the furniture we'd picked out and the photos on the walls and the life we'd made. The divorce took 8 months. It was surprisingly amicable, if divorce can be that. We split things fairly. She kept the house, I didn't want it anymore, too many ghosts. I got a place across town, a 2-bedroom I don't need but felt too empty in a 1-bedroom. I thought when it was final I'd feel relief, closure, something. I felt nothing, just tired. It's been 14 months since that anniversary dinner. I'm okay, I think, most days. I go to work, I see friends, I started running, which I'd never done before, something about the rhythm of it helps. I went on a few dates, though nothing stuck, hard to open up when you're still half closed. I see Megan occasionally, we have mutual friends, so it's unavoidable. She's in a new relationship now, apparently. I heard that from Dave, who heard it from someone else. I don't know how I feel about it. I try not to think about it. Sometimes I drive past Lucia's. I never go in. I don't know if I ever will again. The thing about betrayal is it doesn't end when you leave. It doesn't end when the divorce is final. It lives in you. The way you hesitate before trusting someone, the way you look for exits even when you're happy, the way your body remembers the feeling of 6 words rearranging your entire reality. I don't know if I've forgiven Megan. Some days I think I have. Other days I'm still sitting in that car in the Denny's parking lot staring at a crack in my windshield. I don't think forgiveness is a destination. It's more like a tide. It comes and goes. Some days the anger recedes and I can remember the good years, the early years when we were just two people laughing in a bowling alley. Other days the tide comes back in and I'm underwater again. I still think about those 6 words sometimes. I've been sleeping with someone else. 6 words, 13 syllables, 2 seconds to say, a lifetime to live with. The bread was still warm, the wine had just been poured, the waiter was waiting to take our order. And in the span of a single sentence, 10 years became a before and after. I left her at that restaurant because I couldn't breathe, because every moment I stayed, I felt myself disappearing, because walking out was the only thing I could control in a moment where everything else had been decided for me. Was it the right choice? I don't know. Would I do it again? Yes. Because some moments require motion, some betrayals can't be digested at a dinner table, some truths are too heavy to carry in a fancy restaurant while people around you eat appetizers and plan their weekends. I needed air, I needed space. I needed to not be sitting across from the person who had just dismantled my life while she waited for me to say something, do something, feel something she could respond to. So I left, and I've been walking ever since. Not away from her really, just forward, 1 foot in front of the other, towards something I can't see yet but hope is there. If you've been through this, if you've had your own 6 words, your own moment where everything split into before and after, I'd love to hear from you. Not because I want to wallow or compare pain, but because knowing you're not alone helps, it really does. I thought I'd have a lesson for you by now, some wisdom about trust or resilience or moving on, but I don't. I just have this story, and the hope that telling it means something to someone. The bread was warm, the wine was good, and then nothing was. Thanks for listening.